Hey people, what's going on? It says I'm live. It is just a little bit after 3 on Monday, March 11th. How was your weekend, everybody? And if you are here, please type in that you're here so that I know that I'm not all by my lonesome. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and cry. So, this new schedule of mine is pretty awesome because I can wake up and decide, do I want to go live first or do I want to do yoga first? And I try to do my yoga first. So that puts me into the afternoon for coming on live, but I'm okay with that. I hope that you guys are okay with that. Annie Ruler, what's up, girlfriend? So, how are you? Nice to see you. Where to begin? I'm furious, you guys. I'm absolutely furious about the Halyna Hutchins trial or the upcoming trial. The trial that happened, I think, went well. I think Hannah is where she needs to be. We'll see how long she gets her sentence for. I feel like she should get the maximum. But there's still some things I want to go over with that case. I've been reviewing videos over the weekend and I'm just appalled. I'm appalled how much I've missed. I'm appalled how much has been suppressed. And I'll get into it with you guys right away. Where's all my stuff? Please hit that thumbs up if you'd be so kind, if you don't mind. I'm trying to put it where you can see it better because over here it's so dark you can't see it, but over here in the light. How about that? I don't want to get that creepy white one out just because it's so effing creepy, but I will because I guess if I put it in the dark, then it's not so creepy, right? Fred Field, nice to see you. Sherry, how are you? So I haven't gotten your package out yet, but it's ready to go. So I should be able to get it into the mail this evening. The post office that I go to usually stays open until 6, so I should be able to get it there. And let's see. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of starting a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and learn something. I have this like halo on my head, my gong. And every video that I make has been made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. So I'm hoping to discuss with you guys more about Halyna Hutchins and the freaking cosmic corpse. You guys, the fact that Hannah Gutierrez has a nickname like that, does that kind of creep you out? So I've told you guys my husband is a EMT. He is an EMT. I was confused about it like a week ago. I'm like, wait, is he a medic? Is he an EMT? He's an EMT. A medic is like, I think, a rank above EMT. So he's also a firefighter and law enforcement. So when I told him the nickname Cosmic Corpse, this is what he said. Oh, I wonder if she likes to do ketamine. And I don't know much about the substance myself, but he does. I mean, he's on rescues and overdoses fairly routinely, unfortunately. So that was his response, like in a heartbeat. Oh, I wonder if she likes to do ketamine. And I thought, Cosmic Corpse. Why else would you have a nickname like that? That's disgusting. Okay. I mean, I guess if you're into like the Corpse Bride movie, which, yeah, that is a cute movie. I'll give him that. Mark, what's up? Yeah, hit that like button. Thank you. So we got Annie and Fred and Sherry and Mark. So there's 5 of us already working on a half a dozen. So that gets me that that's her nickname. That just kind of tweaks me out. I'm going to put some links in the description of some of the interviews with her. There's this one that Crime Circus dropped it, I think just like a week ago, where she is being confronted about a box of ammo, and she throws up her hands and says, "What the F?" to the law enforcement. And she's sitting there with her lawyer, and her lawyer just looks dumbstruck. Like, seriously, he looks like he's either super tired or he's just super annoyed. And he's got his like mouth open like he's freaking catching flies. And he's like, almost the entire time. So they're confronting her about the live ammo on the set, and they're confronting her about all of her sloppy work habits. And she, she's sitting at a table and she does this a few times, and she's just like really bossy. She's really snotty. She actually reminds me a little bit of NK in her 3 hour and 33-minute interview. She's very lackadaisical, really like, I don't care, but then kind of like, oh, I'm the expert. She's just all over the place. And then she's acting all surprised when they're giving her this information. Like, I've watched this stuff again and again, you guys, and I think that what they were confronting her about was the fact that the ammunition that they found that was live was manufactured as a dummy, and then it was made into a live round. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't play with guns, so I don't know. I could ask my expert, but he's busy. so so these are some of the things that are just like absolutely shocking. So let me go over my notes. Oh, and she's dressed like Laura Ingalls again, you guys. Like, not only with like the high lace collar and I think maybe a vest with the puffy sleeves and little flowers and all this crap. Then she's got like the kind of the typical Victorian necklace on. It's really unsettling to me to see her dressed like Little House on the Prairie when she's, the corpse bride, the cosmic corpse. So, hey, Anna Bean, nice to see you. Thanks so much for coming in, everybody. So, yeah, I'm pretty fired up about it. She says, a box is a box. She says that to the freaking law enforcement as if they don't know that a box is a box. And then she goes on to explain, this is where she reminds me of NK. She goes on to explain that you can put different trays into different boxes, Like, oh, really? I never thought of that. So there were two more suspected live rounds on the top of the cart right after this happened, and when they took everything into possession and took photographs of everything. So they're sitting there with her probably just a day or two later, and they're showing her photographs of all of the evidence. And she's very nonchalant, lackadaisical, then kind of tries to pull the know-it-all card. She calls them horsey rounds. I'm not sure what she meant when she said horsey rounds, but then she said, I thought it was cute. And again, these are the moments where she reminds me of NK. We're discussing a deceased coworker of yours that you're responsible for, and you're talking about horsey rounds being cute. Sort of like when the detectives are sitting down with NK to discuss the 4 unalived Watts family members, and she's freaking talking about Lucky Charms. And I'm so curious. I want to do some digging on that whole Lucky Charms thing, you guys. Is that code? Is that, what was it? Rainbow Unicorn Lucky Charms? So her story was that she was texting Chris Watts about the Rainbow Unicorn Lucky Charms when he was in the house with Nicole Atkins and her son Nick and the police officer and Nicole Atkins' little girl, and they found Shanann's cell phone. That's when that Lucky Charms text went through. And then Chris responds with, oh, they would totally freak out. Like, I don't think they were talking about Lucky Charms. Anyway, I'm going to jump between two cases if you haven't noticed. These two cases, the Watts and Halyna Hutchins. And at least I put that in my title. So if you saw the title, you'll see that that was my plan all along. I know I'm a little scattered. I'll admit it. I could pretend to be more put together. I could like go over my notes right before I come on. If I do that, it makes my presentation much more professional. But I'm not trying to be professional, you guys. I'm just trying to be myself, because that's what I like to see when I watch YouTube. If I want to watch professional, I'll watch David Muir on the World News Tonight. But I like to see these people talking about their thoughts and feelings about these cases. That's why I come to YouTube. So I'm hoping that that's why, I would imagine people in my chat right now, that's why you come. But I'm just trying to explain myself and why I always have my notes, but I don't like to review them right before I come on, because then I'm kind of too premeditated and planned. And I'd rather just be me. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me if you appreciate that. So the Tilted Lawyer is this channel that I've talked about. And I still think he's way too polished to be as much of a newbie as he says he is, but he's really good and he goes into great detail. And I'm going to put a link. Oh, as I was coming on live, I saw that he dropped a video literally 2 minutes before I started my live. So like less than 10 minutes ago, Tilted Lawyer. And so it's the second in his series of mock trials for NK. So the first one I saw yesterday, and I want to say it was over 2 hours long, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The guy is really sharp. He's really smart. He breaks it down into layman's terms, and he's talking about if we could convict, if we could put NK on trial right now, what would we charge her with? And what his priorities as the prosecution would be, and then what his priorities would be as the defense lawyer. Because I guess that's his thing, as criminal defense, or at least it has been at some point. He does a lot of family law too. But he makes this brilliant point that the only thing at this point in time that needs to be proven in a court of law to get NK charged is that she knew about a plan before it happened. And it doesn't touch Chris Watts's case. It doesn't reopen Chris Watts's plea agreement. But it's so frustrating because we know that they didn't check any of his lies, any of the hard evidence against his confession. And you guys, the majority of confessions are not accurate. And the majority of confessions are designed specifically to protect someone else. These are like givens that law enforcement are well aware of. So they know that when people confess that they're going to be full of crap most of the time. And they also know that when they confess, they're doing it to try to take the blame to cover for somebody else or a group of other people, if it's more than one. So without touching any of the horrible case against Chris Watts and just letting that sleeping dog lie, they can still charge NK with conspiracy. And I think they should. And I really appreciate this Tilted Lawyer going into this whole case, because I think the more that people talk about that kind of stuff on YouTube, it puts it out there in the public arena. And it makes me think that it actually can happen. So, oh, we love you being you. Sherry, you are so sweet. I could just cry. I get so mushy, don't I? Oh, and Anna Bean knows him too, Tilted Lawyer. I know everyone talks about the other one, and I don't want to compare. There's so many good YouTube channels and content creators, and it's just nice when we find ones that we like. And I'm really happy that I found this guy. I had not been aware of his channel until just a few days ago. Rachel Smith, authentic and organic. Love you. Oh, that's so nice. So I'm trying so hard to be authentic. That's kind of a joke, like an oxymoron. But I am, I am what I am, and I'm just myself. And even when I have on my most professional hat as a professor or as a supervisor in the courts or as an expert providing testimony, any of those hats, I still am just me. I will always be myself. And I get a lot of positive feedback for that. I feel like, and even what I just said earlier in this very uh, podcast, I feel like a lot of people have this common misconception that you can either be professional or you can be yourself, and you can't be both. And I think if you're doing that, then as a professional, if you're doing that, then you're being 100% fake and phony. And then as an individual, if you can't incorporate your profession into who you are as a person, are you really doing meaningful work that you want to put your life and your time into? Because they do blend, and it is important to be a real person when you're doing the hardcore professional business. And it's also important to be able to see things from your professional perspective in the middle of the night when you're at a party, in my opinion. That's just how I like to live. So he said we would need a lot more evidence. Oh, did you just watch? Well, the one that he dropped, he probably just dropped. I don't think it was alive. So you're probably talking about the one that I saw. So popping in for a minute. Hey, CB, NK needs to be charged with conspiracy, if not more. Right. So he was saying that as it is, she could be charged with conspiracy, and that if there were going to be more charges, there would need to be a lot more hard evidence. And a couple of things that he used for examples are the 111-minute phone call and the lying about the not knowing that Shanann was pregnant. So another thing that he brought up that this is real graphic, but I like that he brought it up, is that, Chris Watts claimed that he had intimate relations with Shanann before he unalived her. And the tilted lawyer was asking, and I don't know the answer, maybe some of you do, asking if in the autopsy, if they had checked for recent sexual activity on Shanann's person. Because in the event that there was no evidence of that, that shows that Chris Watts is 100% bullshit, because he specifically said that that's what happened, right? In the event that there was evidence that it did happen, then we would know, oh, okay, so something that he said is true. But if there's no evidence of it, and I doubt there is, I seriously doubt there is, I don't think he could stand her. I don't think he could kiss her. I don't think he could touch her. He was so head over heels for his new hoe that he wanted nothing to do with the mother of his children. So I don't think that they did. And in the event that they compared the hard evidence to disprove his story, then they could say, okay, so we can't trust anything he says. So I don't think that they wanted to do that. I don't think that they wanted to compare any of the hard evidence to his story, because they didn't want to challenge his confession. They wanted to just nail it down and be done with it. And, it's freaking court and law. And I mean, it wasn't a trial, but it was court. Things don't happen overnight, and you've got to be patient. And the fact that they wouldn't do that they wouldn't allow the comparison of the hard evidence against his confession tells me that there was so much corruption. So freaking much corruption. So, yeah, some of the most damning evidence against NK is that she won't admit to being able to remember anything from that 111-minute phone call, and that she lied about not knowing that Shanann was pregnant. So, um, oh, okay, back over to the Hannah Reid and Halyna Hutchins case, the Alec Baldwin case, because this one's coming up. The Alec case court trial is coming up in July, hopefully. But in a typical production with guns, when there's a negligent discharge, the armorer is instantaneously fired, you guys. Replaced instantaneously. And people are replaced instantaneously on the set quite often. Like, that's typical. The night before the shooting, so I've gotten a lot more of the facts straight, I think, about the turbulence that was going on and the striking that the camera crew was talking about. So this incident that happened on October 21st, that was a Thursday, I think. And I believe that the talking about the striking was before the weekend. And it kind of sounds like maybe they did take the weekends off, actually, that they did take Saturday and Sunday off. I'm not sure if anybody else here has an idea about that. I'm real curious. So before the weekend, they were already talking about striking. And then the night before, so on the 20th, when everyone was done for the day, when it was a wrap, then that one heavy set Lane Looper, that big fella, the assistant cameraman, and some of the other camera crew sent emails to their supervisors and said, "We're done, we quit, we're out of here." And then they went back in the morning to collect their stuff, and then nothing happened as far as recording any live footage, and they were trying to get that started after lunch. So I still am not sure what time lunch was over at and what time the shooting happened. I think that the 911 call was 1:47, if I'm remembering right from when I looked into that last week. But what's so profound to me is that one of the supervisors, and I think I have the name, I have a lot of notes. Ryan is his name. He was screaming at Halyna Hutchins the night before she was shot. He was screaming at her when she was trying to talk to him about smoothing things over. And this is one of the things that he screamed at her. "You effing POS camera people," the night before she was unalived. Like, that's insane. That's completely insane. And to think that he's yelling at Halyna the night before, and then when this happened. So this is one theory that I have. Okay, are you ready? Crazy conspiracy theory. One theory that I have is that I'll just say it, that the actor put that bullet in the gun and did that intentionally, that he was so mad at what was going on. He was so mad. She had put on her Instagram that she fully supported the camera crew, right? So that's one theory, is that he could have put that round into the chamber when nobody was looking or nobody was paying attention, or he could have had Dave Hall do it. He could have had Hannah Gutierrez Reed do it. I'm still not convinced that it was actually an accident. You don't take a crossbody revolver, take it from that position, point it directly at somebody from 2 feet away, and cock and fire it. You don't do that, whether it's loaded, unloaded, blank, dummy, none of it. You just simply don't. 2 feet, you guys. I was so disgusted when I realized that it wasn't 3 feet, it wasn't 4 feet, that it was 2 feet. And just thinking more and more about that bullet shredding through her trigger warning, shredding through the right armpit, through the spinal cord. It went through a couple of ribs, punctured a lung. I don't think it actually hit her heart, but I'm not 100% sure if it might have hit an artery or something. It probably did. But when it came out of the back of her left shoulder, it was, how to say, it was torn up. It was torn up. It was really, really bad. And people that were right there are so severely traumatized. Pretty much everybody on the set is suing the Rust production. So that says a lot to me. Let's see. NK needs to be charged. Okay, I got that one. Was that the last one? Yeah. We can all get her. All we can get her on is lying. Right. But if she lied about not knowing about the pregnancy, that supplies motive for both her and Chris. So, and yeah, you don't lie to the officials. When you lie to the officials, that cancels out any kind of agreement that you had. Absolutely. She is a big liar, pants on fire, I like to say. Yes, she is. I must have not seen his newest video. Oh, okay. So the one that he just did yesterday, that one, the 2 hours about kind of doing a mock trial. And then the one that he just dropped, I don't know what that follow-up has, but he did clarify some of the information that he got incorrect. He had stated in the previous video that he thought that Dwayne Kessinger had worked in law enforcement, which blew me away. I was pretty sure that that was inaccurate, but I thought, well, maybe I just don't know. But he said that he had gotten that information wrong. So he's not claiming that Dwayne Kessinger had any professional experience working as law enforcement or with law enforcement. But that's not to say that he's not friends with these people. I mean, he's obviously friendly with them, or they wouldn't have let him into that interview, in my opinion. Let's see. Thank you. Said it out loud, Annie Ruler. 4 minutes ago, we saw Dave messing with something. Right. Was it Dave? Yes, it was Dave in that little clip of a short that that Crime Circus dropped, and he's dropping something in his pocket, and that's at the beginning of the video of Crime Circus that I'm going to link in the description. And yeah, it's really hard to see, but it certainly looks like it could be a casing or a bullet or something small that he's just literally like dropping in his pocket. Like he doesn't put it in his pocket, he literally drops it into his pocket. So yeah, could easily be substances too. We heard blonde gal say, yes, I put them in the trash, not going to say why. Highest paid and armor gone. So that is Sarah and her Zachary, I think is her last name. Sarah Zachary. She's like strawberry blonde hair. And yeah, she's the one with the streaks in the front at the trial. So when this happened a couple of years ago, her hair was a lot longer, and she is very casual and young. And then at the trial, she really tried to clean up her act and portray herself as a more serious individual. And at first, I took her at face value that she was telling the truth at the trial, but I don't think she's 100% telling the truth. I think she's mostly telling the truth. I think she's still hiding things. Honestly, I think everybody is still hiding things. And I mean, that's usually the way it is in cases, unfortunately. Like, pretty much in my experience in the court, nobody actually tells the whole truth in their testimony. They will tell as much of the truth that they can without making themselves look really bad. People don't like to make themselves look really bad. So, probably the things that were skewed or left out were things that made her somewhat culpable. She's not the one that shot herself in the foot. That was a different uh, prop master. I want to say that one's name is Jessica. So the shooting the self in the foot, the body double of Alec Baldwin that had a negligent discharge with a firearm in a cabin, and then 15 minutes later outside of the cabin, same gun, same individual. So those were the three discharges before any of this happened. And like I said, what was it? Any negligent discharge will get the armor fired instantaneously on most sets. And then the rattlesnake, you guys. The rattlesnake, I believe, was on October 16th. So I mistakenly said that it was the third day of the shooting. I think the third day of the shooting was October 6th. And I think that that day there was an explosion. So, in addition to the three negligent discharges, there was also some kind of prop thing that exploded. And then it left dust and debris on everyone. So, there was that on the third day. Then there was the three negligent discharge weapons. And then there was the rattlesnake on the 16th. And one thing that I want to say is the way that everybody that worked on the show, including Lean Looper, tries to kind of sugarcoat it and make it look like it's not as bad as it was, trying to treat Alec Baldwin with kid gloves. If you don't do that, you're not going to be employable in the field anymore. Man, your hair just does the craziest stuff when you're moving around. Where's my hat? so, um, so yeah, if you still want to work in the field, you still have to suck up to people like Alec Baldwin and everybody else that was part of that production. And then all of the friends of anybody or acquaintances, affiliates of anybody that was part of that production. If you speak poorly of that situation, you're going to be a pariah in the profession. People are not going to want to hire you because they're going to be afraid that you're going to have a critical eye for them too, right? Um, chicken crap excuse. Yeah, it is for her to say, I put them in the trash. And I think her exact words were, and I can't tell you why. So, not that I don't remember why, not that I can't explain why, not that I don't have a reason, but I can't tell you why. That's sus to us, right? That's a little drip drop quote, sus to us. I like it. That live was inserted intentionally, guessing you will need my comments above clarified. Well, inserted by whom? I would think one of the three that handled it. And then the other half dozen live rounds that were on the set, in my opinion, may have been planted to make it look like there was a handful of live rounds, that wasn't the only one. Because often people will try to camouflage their crimes like that. So I don't know. And let's see, we're just at half an hour, you guys. I'm thinking that I might need to keep this one short. Let me check my phone. Sorry. Um, okay, actually, I think I'm fine. Let's see. That live was inserted. Okay. Motormouth Dave, drip drop short. Yeah. Is that what he called him? Motormouth Dave. Wonder what they were paid. Yeah. Like Hannah and Dave and Sarah, maybe. She says blatantly through, and I am not going to say why. Plead the fifth. Right. Right. When I first saw her testimony, I thought, well, maybe she can't remember what she was thinking. She was just panicked. She was like having an anxiety attack. And I think she did say something about having an anxiety attack. But yeah, it sounds to me like she was trying to throw away evidence, destroy evidence. Sorry, I've got my little yappy dog barking in the background. I can get her on camera. That might shut her up. Hold on. Come here, Mookie. Come here, baby. Come here, Mookie. Come here, Mookie. Hey, come, Mookie. Come here. Come here. All right, I got my co-host, you guys. I got my little four-legged co-host. Come here, Mookie. Come here, baby. Come here. Everybody wants to say hi. Oh, she's such a goofball. Are you gonna? Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Okay. Okay, she's messing with me. She'll come around in a minute. On her time, right? Let's see. The misfire, negligent discharge aren't one firing acts. Budget insurance paid for reshoot. Been having phone issues. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mark. That's a pain in the butt. Where's my hat? I've got my Justice Saves Lives, but is it gonna get stuck? Oh my goodness. Why does everything have to be so freaking difficult? It tried to get stuck. So I could put it on in the event of a hair emergency, but I just love this hat. Justice Saves Lives. Or no, Love Saves Lives. Justice A to Z. Okay, maybe I should put it on so that we can read it and pay attention. Pay attention, class. Talking to myself, you know. My hat, my hat. Politics. They talk bad campaigning, kiss booty after 4 committees. No, that was about cleaning the chicken coop. What you talk about, Nico? What up? And let's see. I saw the hi Char, and I'm thinking, is there somebody named Charlotte? And then, okay, typo, chat. I love yappy dogs. Oh, don't like yappy dogs. I love dogs. I don't like the dogs when they're barking so much, but I especially hate when small dogs are yappy. Puppy live is the best. Yes, puppy life. Come here, Mook. Come on, baby. So, yeah, come here, honey. Come here. Do you want to be in the show? Everybody wants to see you. You guys, I have so many pages of notes. So everyone tendered their resignation after wrapping up on October 20th. So then they gathered their equipment the 21st. The 16th was the 2 discharges. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to figure out when the rattlesnake thing was. So the first was in the cabin, and then the second 15 minutes later, same day, outside the cabin. Nicole is the name of the person who shot herself in the foot. The um, the prop assistant on day 3. So was I'm not sure though that that's right, because I'm thinking that day 3 was the day that there was an explosion on set. Maybe both. So the 3 negligent discharges, 2 on the same day, and no reprimand at all for the armorer. Um, so in that interview with uh, the big guy, what's his name? Lane Looper. At the 32-minute mark, right before that, he says something about the female employee that asked him to tell law enforcement that law enforcement needs to reach out to them. And I found that so telling, that the person can't just go to law enforcement, because they're going to be they're going to want to be honest with their employer. They're going to want to not have anything to hide. And if they were to go to law enforcement on their own accord, their employer probably would find out. But if they were confronted about it and they had to admit it, that could be a pretty tense moment. And like I said, not just get them fired from this one production, but get them blacklisted in Hollywood completely. And it's important to remember that when this whole production was going on in October of 2021, that there had not been a lot of work in Hollywood since COVID. California was one of the states that was kind of on a major lockdown, kind of a major stay at home order, much longer than the rest of the country, like New York, the West Coast, Colorado, where you weren't even allowed to travel too far from your home unless it was for a doctor's appointment, right? Um, okay, so I had all the information about the Crow movies last week and getting that all confused. Dave Hall worked on the Crow Salvation. So the whole thing about the Curse of the Crow is because Dave Hall was there. He brought that curse over to the Rust set. And was it you, Mark, that was talking about the person that got hit on the train tracks like 20 years ago, filming on train tracks? And that was like a camera crew female. Um, I think her name is Sarah, right? Wasn't that you, Mark, that brought that up last week? Let's see. Mini Yorkie Dream. Oh, cute. I'm being against most people. I don't think Alec did it on purpose. I do believe they were all negligent and Alec is an a-hole, but I think it was an accident, but they should have some consequences. And it very well could be an accident. I just think that it's a coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences in homicides. And maybe this isn't a homicide, maybe this is simply involuntary manslaughter. However, with the other guy, was his name Ryan, screaming at Halyna the night before, "You effing piece of crap camera people," the night before. So that must have been after everyone sent in their resignation emails, and then she was trying to smooth things over. But remember, she wasn't supposed to be behind the camera. So the people that left, the people that abandoned ship, they could have been unalived if it was truly an accident. then they saved their own heinies by leaving. And poor Halyna was stepping in to take over because she had a skeletal crew, and it was her responsibility to make sure that the mission was accomplished of getting the getting the production on tape, on video. So the special effects detonator popper went off, and there was stuff everywhere falling from the ceiling and onto everyone. Oh, and Hannah would carry armloads of guns, you guys, like they were sticks. I think it was that Lane Looper who said that Hannah would walk around on the set carrying guns like this. Like they're each supposed to be in their own case. They're supposed to be handled as if they are deadly weapons, because they are deadly weapons. The only way that that would make any sense at all to carry armloads of guns like that is if they're prop guns. If they're not actually guns, they're just pretend. That is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. And yeah. Baja California, they counted 800 people on beaches in entire state the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. So we were punished and locked in longer. Oh my goodness, that is so crazy. That is wild. And Nico says, too many coincidences. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, talk about a perfect storm. And Halyna was pounding safety hard. Halyna gave Alec a half-hour safety class that morning. Oh, did she? Hannah gave Alec a half-hour safety class that morning. Okay, I read that wrong. Sorry. Cut short because Alec was on the phone the entire time. Yeah, I remember that testimony. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention. And let's see. The dismal and dangerous work conditions. So 10/17 on the 17th. So that would have been before the weekend, I think. I'd have to look at the calendar. Maybe if Thursday was the 21st, Wednesday would be the 20th, Tuesday the 19th. So this would be Sunday, 10/17 at the wrap of the day. So maybe they did shoot on Sunday. Somebody named, I think it's Nathaniel Klinger. I'll have to double check. Spoke about set safety and housing after wrapping up for the day on the 17th of October. So you guys know that this was a 21-day shoot. This happened on day 17 of the shoot. And the shoot production started on October 4th. So do you know that Alec Baldwin says that he took Halyna out to dinner the night she arrived to the set? And when I first heard this, it's probably in that George Stephanopoulos interview. When I first heard this, I thought, okay, it's just a business meeting, just something that you do. But now I'm thinking, if it was a business meeting, how come it was just the two of them? How come nobody else went with them? It's almost like it's a date. I just said it. I did. In my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. I've said it again and again. I try not to hammer away at it because I don't have a substantial case to present that there could have been some flirtation / harassment going on with Alec and Halyna. Could have been. And I think it's not that far out of the question. I mean, she's an incredibly beautiful individual. Here they are on the set away from their spouses. She's one of the top people in the production team. You know, she's pretty much everybody's boss on set, the crew's boss, and she works directly with Alec. So we all know, we've all been in work situations, whether we're male or female, that there is a lot of flirtation that can happen between men and women. And I don't want to sound heterophobic. I don't want to sound, you know, that can happen in same sex dynamics too, but especially in opposite genders. I just can't imagine that he didn't have his eye on her. You guys, it's pretty much common knowledge that the way you get jobs in Hollywood is through the casting couch. That was always denied publicly, and then was kind of the general consensus to try to pretend that that got cleaned up after the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. I beg to differ. I definitely beg to differ. Let's see. I understand and would need to rewatch. You could be very right. Yeah. Yeah, the thing that really gets me about what we do know about the whole thing is that everybody's stories changed. So on day one, right after it happened, Alex swore to the law enforcement that it was Hannah that handed him the gun. And she was not even in the building. So that's where it really seems like it could have been choreographed and planned, in my opinion. And then we all know that it was Dave Hall who actually was the one who handed Alec the gun. And he says that he looked at the bullets, but even looking at them, one of the things that the prosecuting attorney, I thought, did an excellent job proving is that even to the naked eye, you could tell quite distinctly that that bullet was different than the rest. Like, it had a silver tip, it was shaped slightly different. It was completely different. But anyway, let's see. Alec frustrated many and may have been set up. See, I think that he would like people to think he was set up. I think he's the one who set it up. I've never thought he was set up. I see your argument though, Annie. I do. Um, I might consider him a victim if he had any victim responses at all, but nothing in his behavior remotely resembled Alec Baldwin not understanding what just happened. And you know, I said it in the Kylie Rodney case, the woulda, shoulda, coulda. When people are very traumatized and remorseful, they can't help but recount what happened and ruminate and keep thinking, well, what if I did this? What if I did that? If only I had ordered something different at lunch that was quicker or that took longer. You know, the whole woulda, shoulda, coulda. I have not seen or heard of anybody on the Russ set doing that. And that to me is suspicious. Same thing with Kylie Rodney's case. You would think that you would hear that from her family. You would think that you would hear that from her friends. But the lack of ruminating and trying to think of ways that it could have been avoided makes me think that that's just not where their minds are at. Not at all. It's just not part of the situation. Um, so, yeah, I agree, Nico. In my opinion, it would be a shock if Alec didn't fish a little for a smile from Halyna. Annie, no, Helena's name is rough. I look it up all the time because even though I know how to spell it, it still throws me a curveball every time. So and I'm not trying to be picky. It's just that I noticed it's Halyna. So that's how she spells Helena. But you did a good job trying. You get an A for effort. Let's see. It wouldn't be a shock if Alec didn't fish a little for a smile from Helena, and Helena knew how to play the game. No pew pew. No pew pee. um, yeah, I mean, she was gorgeous. She was an absolute knockout. I can't imagine that everybody didn't have an eye on her, like literally male or female. She was just a hot number, really, truly. Right there, this time period is who I suspect. Huh. The time period of like when Hannah left the building. Insurance fraud wasn't going well. Needed new cameraman, armor, and Helena being a biatch. Killed 3 birds with 1 bullet. Stoned and advertising free. He fake cried and read it nostril touched. Annie, I think that's a pretty brilliant comment. Wasn't going well. Needed new cameraman, armor, and Helena was being difficult. She was supporting the crew that had walked out. Um, and yeah, that bullet going through her and then hitting Joel Sousa, who was the lead director, that was probably what was really upsetting. Was that wasn't part of the plan, if it was a plan. But again, you don't pull a gun, point directly at somebody, cock your pistol, and fire it. 2 feet, you guys, 2 feet. That is so crazy. So sad. It's just so sad. You're right. When my husband passed, I blamed myself. Oh, Anna Bean, I'm so sorry. I should have got him to the hospital quicker and more things. Right. Annie, Helena, thank you. And I don't mean to be a stickler. I can't stand it when people are like that. So I apologize. But I know I've struggled for 2 years with spelling her name right. And like I said, I still have to look it up because I'll forget because it is pretty interesting way to spell it. Anyway, Anna Bean, I'm so sorry about your husband, and I'm really sorry about you feeling like that. It is so difficult not to. I mean, you guys, I just passed the 2 year anniversary of my mother passing away. That was on International Women's Day, the 8th. Was that Friday, I believe? And even though she was dying from her kidney failure for 10 years, I still ruminate about it. I don't just ruminate about the end, I ruminate about the whole process. Like she lived in a nursing home. And just last night, I was thinking, like, how could I do that? How could I allow my mom to live in a nursing home? I mean, it was in town, it was close to my house. I was able to visit her often, but it is a terrible thing to think about. I mean, she needed 24-hour care. It was a skilled nursing facility. But still, I still kick myself. I'm still like, why couldn't I have just like let her live at our house? No, that would not have worked. but but you can't help but rethink things, and it's just hard. It's really hard. How long ago did your husband pass, Anna? If you want to share what he passed from. And yeah, my mom with the kidney failure for 10 years, she was on dialysis, and it was just really awful, like watching her decline and deteriorate and languish. And I was so scared the last day of her life. I was so scared that she was going to hang on like that for another 10 years and basically be like a vegetable. So, in a sense, it was a huge relief to allow her to pass away. I never thought I could survive it. I never thought it would be okay. And I have survived it. It is okay. It's still heartbreaking. It's never a good day to lose somebody that we love, no matter what. So if you want to share, Anna, if you don't, that's fine too. So we're just about an hour. Let me see. 11 and a half years ago, acute respiratory failure. Ooh. So like an asthma attack? And yeah, 11 and a half years when you're dealing with something like losing your spouse, that's not a long time. I mean, time is irrelevant. Um, so yeah, my deepest condolences. Wow. Was it like an asthma attack? Acute respiratory failure? My wife passed in 2001. All my original family are gone. Just my son, who is getting his LT promotion at FD Thursday. Um, oh, lieutenant promotion at the fire department there in Chicago, Fredfield. And nieces, nephews left. No, they think sepsis. Ooh, ouch. Yuck. I have hospice cared for two, showing family how to off Granny Annie. Oh, Annie, that's funny. It's hard to insert funniness in such sadness, but yeah, I think that that's essential to keep things light. So I think that I'm going to just review my notes real quick. And oh, that Thule Trang, the Yellow Power Ranger that played Callie in The Crow Salvation. So 1994 was the year Crow Salvation was released. 1993 was the year that Brendan Lee was shot with a blank that took him. I guess there was like some gunpowder. Again, it was like a weird, like perfect storm. And yeah, so it was 1997 when Thule Trang died in that car accident. And, it's just that curse of the crow that they talk about in the industry. And I guess they talk about that woman that died on those train tracks still a lot too. Like on here, I've got one of those Hollywood, what do you call these things? I got one of these, but I think that they often write rest in peace, Sarah, on these in almost every production in Hollywood to remind everybody how important safety is, right? So, you guys know I hurt my toe so terribly 2 months ago. And it was when I was trying to go on to my live, and it was just like one thing after another. And, you know, I whacked that dumb thing so hard. But it's so easy to hurt yourself, to have that type of an incident or an accident. And I think often when we're dealing with really dangerous things like rocks or bullets or knives or, you know, things that we know can hurt us, we're extremely cautious and careful. But it's sometimes like slipping on an empty plastic bag or like a cap of like a cap like this off my kefir, that if it's on the ground on a kitchen floor and you step on it, that could freaking take you out right there. It's those little things. I do a lot of the hardscaping with giant bricks and rocks, and like it's crazy how dangerous it is. But then it's just like backing up over, a little plastic bench that can send you to the ER because you let your guard down. That's what I'm trying to say. You let your guard down when you're doing things that seem inconsequential. So when you're doing a set, when you're doing a production, there's so much that goes into it. And you've got all of these people, you've got all these plates spinning, and everything has to be just right. And it gets really stressful. People get really testy. So there's all types of dangerous things that can happen, whether you have ammo or not, whether you have prop guns or not. So, that situation on the train tracks was crazy. Like, it wasn't just train tracks, it was a freaking bridge, and they were filming like a dream sequence. I think Jeff Bridges was in it. And so they're filming somebody like in bed asleep on train tracks, and nobody looked at the freaking schedule of the train. That is so insane. And then they're out there with all that expensive equipment, and the crew member that didn't make it was trying to save a freaking camera that was worth $10 or $20,000, to my understanding. And it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, um, yeah, Fred, I am so sorry. It's terrible as we lose more people that are special to us. It gets so hard. C got my wife at age 48. C, like COVID? 2001? Oh, cancer, cancer, cancer. Yeah. Yeah, that is awful. I'm so sorry. And yeah, that's so young to go. 48. Area rugs are senior night. Back in the day, I'm not sure what you meant, Annie Ruler. Area rugs are seniors night nightmare. Oh, area rugs are seniors' nightmare trips. I gotcha. I follow. So area rugs are very dangerous. I like to say stairs are very dangerous for the young and the old and everybody in between. I mean, stairs are very dangerous. And usually the worst injuries happen actually falling upstairs rather than downstairs. That, again, a common misconception. It's not the falling down the stairs usually where people break arms and legs. It's falling upstairs. Back in the day, stepping on jacks. Fred, those jacks. Yeah, I stepped on a plug the other day, just like something was unplugged and the plug was just laying on the floor, and it was like right in the arch of my foot, and it hurt like F. But yeah, jacks are terrible, and Legos can be like that too. Yeah, families now if you're stepping on Legos, LOL. Right, but at least Legos aren't sharp and pointy. I mean, the corners actually are, but yeah, there's a lot of flat sides. Yeah, jacks are the worst because yeah, that can just like puncture right through your skin. Ugh. I mean, Legos are really painful. And my toe, I stubbed it on a leg of a chair, and I'm just really lucky that I didn't break it. I'm really lucky that it didn't get infected, and I'm really lucky that they didn't have to do surgery on it. And it's still bothering me, and it's still gross. And I could show it to you guys. Maybe I will, just to be weird. That one content creator that's always showing her injured toe, because I got to make a name for myself somehow, right? And because I can, let's see, but is it going to show? Let's see. It's pretty gross, but it is getting a lot better. Can you see it? So I'm super lucky too because a new nail is growing, but I don't think you can see it, can you? Or no, I'm drowning it out. There, I tried. I gave it my best shot. I give up. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I got everything in my notes because I'm sure I haven't. Um, I still want to know who gave Halyna Hutchins a ride to the church from lunch because I thought that that was Lane Looper, but now I'm thinking it was someone else. Yeah, you guys, Shan on Squirrels on Fire has been doing some amazing lives in the Kylie Rodney case. Why Scammy was never treated as a person of interest is out of control. And why still to this day, oh, and MC Ultra and her little wolf pack trying to say that it's been 2 years and that, us Squirrel Squad, we're still hung up on this. It's been just over a year and a half. It's not really 2 years. It's not really close to 2 years. It's just like a minute past a year and a half. And yeah, we're hung up on it because there's still no freaking timeline. There's still no answers. The whole thing is so freaking vague. And the only timeline that I think any of us can hang our hat on is her grandfather saying that he saw Kylie at noon that day on August 6th of 2022. But yeah, it's really looking like it could have been a day prior to August 6th of 2022 when it happened. I mean, we've always wondered that, right? We've wondered if it was before, we've wondered if it was after. I'm still thinking that she was horribly injured and that she languished. And that when Jägermeister and Mags were talking about finding her, and when they were doing the country for Kylie and hoping that she would hear them singing, hear the songs through the trees and the hills, I still wonder if she might have not been deceased quite yet. So the question about Truckee having this culture of allowing these teenagers to party in the woods year after year after year, and who's buying them alcohol and who's allowing this. I shouldn't have worn a necklace that's going to look like all skewed like that. Remember that for next time. Anyway, I'm wondering if the people in Truckee, the authorities, don't want to have teenagers drinking in the woods so that they have easy access to drunk teenagers in the woods. I mean, it's a super creepy thought, but why would you allow that? And yeah, teenagers are going to do what teenagers do. To some extent, you can't control that. But when they know that this has been going on year after year after year, and so many injuries and so many people getting hurt and going missing and horrible. Was Black the Bruise? Was Black the Bruise? Are you talking about the Kylie case? Shan's last 2 lives have been taken down. Why is that? Oh, so I was on her panel with her the other day when it got taken down. Was it like right at while we were still doing it? It was late at night. It was the night before last. And somebody, I want to say the initials are TF, maybe friends with MC Ultra, was upset over this whole Dumbo thing, you guys. So Ninja Chihuahua drew a beautiful Dumbo to prove to MC Ultra that she's not the only one that can draw Dumbo. But man, like Dumbo, Dumho, I don't know. Why are we arguing about drawing Dumbo? So this guy, this TF guy, I guess he has a channel and he draws, and he did Dumbo, and then Megan did Dumbo because what? Like I said, dumb ho, crazy. So the live, to answer your question, Anna Bean, Shan's live was taken down, I think, because of a complaint by this TF character. I missed a whole bunch of the drama, but then I got filled in, caught up. Did you see Meg's friend Judy pass last week? I did, Fred. I barely caught wind of that. That's sad. They are all culpable. We needs a lawyer. Yes, and maybe Mrs. G could spring for that. She has a lawyer, doesn't she? I mean, she's real serious about getting an angle on nailing this situation down. Yes, you were there. Yeah, so I guess there's been some strikes and, copyright strikes. And it's just really weird that uh, people are making these weird strikes, and then YouTube is taking down videos while it's being debated. Just like with the Watts case, when that ridiculous channel, The Survivor's Guide to True Crime, when they made those fake fair use strike allegations against Plunder and Behind Criminal Minds, and those videos got put into YouTube jail. I guess Ninja Chihuahua has one that got put into YouTube jail too. So hopefully they'll be getting out of jail soon and we can see them. Because, yeah, that's really annoying. But there should be consequences for people making strike allegations that aren't substantiated. I mean, it's such a hassle. Your foot, was it black? No, the toenail never turned black. Was black the bruise? Yeah, the toenail never turned black. The uh the tattoo. Can you, no, you can't see it. I'm like putting it out of the screen. See, it's so hard to get the right angle and everything, even though I've been doing my yoga so diligently. Watch me knock down my squirrel and everything. So let's see. So there's the tattoo. I don't know if that's what you were talking about, but there's where it got hurt so bad. And it is getting better slowly but surely. And I'm just really lucky that there is a nail growing back underneath where the one came off. Uh, and yeah, it just came off a couple of days ago. That's why I was showing you the progress report. So poor little squirrel got knocked over. If I try to fix it, I'll probably knock down more things, right? Come here, little squirrel. You and Mookie. Okay, let's see. And then Dave Hall playing the Undertaker on the set for Alec Baldwin's movie Rust. That's so weird. So the special effects explosion was on the third day, and that's the first time that something like that happened. And they should have reevaluated what was going on and what made that happen. October 16th was the rattlesnake. And that was um so 5 days before Halyna was shot. All right. Yeah. So committing perjury, impeaching themselves, You would think that there would be consequences for that, right? Um, there absolutely should be. So I was thinking of doing a video with the top, like the biggest clues that something is fishy in these cases, with the Watts case, with the Kylie Rodney case, with the Idaho 4 case, and with the Halyna Hutchins case. And one of my viewers, when I first started my channel, was telling me a really good idea. I liked the idea, that doing like a top 10, for having that be like your spiel rather than your toe, having that be the thing that people know your channel from. And I liked the idea, but I it wasn't, something that was inspiring to me. But I'm thinking that that might be an interesting thing to work on with these cases. Not necessarily the top 10 things, but just the top things. Um, and then I was going to talk some about a couple of crazy cases, but my goodness, I got so many pages and pages of notes. Maybe saving it for the next video. The case that I wanted to share with you guys is a guy named Michael Polite, Politte, from Washington County, Missouri, who was put in prison for like 20 years, 22 years, for red rumming his own mother, but it was a wrongful conviction. So he was released in April of 2022 after serving 22 years, Michael Polite. So I wanted to talk about that case, but not today, maybe in the next video. I'm thinking that it was like a 48 hours that I just watched over the weekend. And then, okay, so one of the biggest, like, top reasons that something's fishy with the Watts case, in my opinion, is when NK said to Chris to pawn the wedding ring. And I think it was so funny in that interview when she brought it up, when she was like, I don't know, man, pawn it. I've pawned lots of things. And then she catches herself and realizes that that doesn't sound good. So she's like, I mean, I've pawned a few things. I've pawned a couple of things, maybe sometime. Anyway, tangent. Um, oh, the carpet being wet, you guys, at the Watts house when they went in there that day. Wasn't the carpet wet? The stairs? Weren't the stairs wet? Didn't some of the police body cam footage have one of the police officers touching the stairs with their bare hand and saying the stairs are wet? That's so gross. Um, let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's some pretty damning evidence right there. And why wasn't that investigated? Like, why the carpet was wet? That's crazy. Um, so the whole thing with the bullets on the Rust set, you guys, do you ever get the feeling that they're playing the shell game with where those live rounds came from? That question still hasn't been answered. So I would say that that's one of the most suspicious things about that case still. Why isn't that being uh, investigated and determined where they came from? That makes me think that there could be a cover up. That in the event that there was a conspiracy, that people are protecting Mr. Baldwin. Yeah. And then when Hannah, we've all heard about the target practicing that was going on out there. And in that interview that I'll have the link to in the description, when Hannah was asked directly about target practicing out there at the set, um, again, her demeanor was off. Like she was like, "Oh no, no target practicing." Like if there was target practicing, people would have been so stoked. She used that word, stoked, that we would have had photographs and videotape, and everybody would have been so excited about it. Like, why are you going on and on about how fun it would have been to have target practice when you're talking about a deceased individual? Remember, topic. Oh, all right, you guys. I am going to read a few of your comments and then wrap. Um, yeah, hopefully Shan's last two lives will get back up. Absolutely. So yeah, my foot wasn't black. The toenail never turned black. I expected it to turn black. It was gross. It more like turned white and kind of grayish and ugh. How can creators make videos that they own the rights to? Rumble, they took my 14-second dance short down and shut my channel. One video. What? That's so weird. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense, Annie. Same video is on Annie Ruler channel, 91 views and 0 copyright. Same video. Oh, I'm going to check out your channel, Annie. I didn't know that you had an Annie Ruler channel. How fun. Yes, fake serial churning in person needs to be put in jail, in my opinion. So I'm not following completely what this means. Yes, fake serial turning in persons need to be put in jail. Catching for replay crew, catching tail end for replay crew, lol. Hey Shan, I didn't check to see if you were on live today. I know you've been doing so much of your slinging ink videos. It's been challenging to keep up. So, but also I know that we both have all kinds of stuff going on. So we do what we can. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Did you see Miss Squirrel right here? Um, let's see. And YouTube took down my dance video. That's so annoying. So annoying. Well, my brain is just kind of disintegrating the way it does after an hour and a half almost. Oh no, I guess that's a good excuse then, but I don't need an excuse. It's Monday. I should be on top of my game. There's just so much going on, you guys. So much going on. I'm so happy to have my yoga. I'm so happy to have my YouTube. I'm so happy with where things are at with my creative outlet and expression. So thanks for being a part of it. I can't go live. What? Squirrels, you're going to have to make a new channel. Or you know what? I'll have to do the StreamYard and you'll have to come over to my channel. Because I've never done the StreamYard and I probably should. I can't believe this. That's so frustrating. I mean, that's crazy. It really makes me think that MC Ultra is directly connected to some of these people that are mucky mucks with YouTube. That's effing crazy. I was about to wrap up, but now I'm thinking we should stay on for a minute to talk about this. You guys, and Mark has the panel thing. I was on his panel once. So Mark, you should invite Shan onto your panel so she can go live on your channel with you. I have 2 channels now, but it's the silver lining. Oh yeah, that is cool. That was my first thought. is that have a different channel. So what's the other channel called? How will we find it? And did you just make it like in the last day? Oh man, there we go. We need to protest, use a different forum. They own your content. Wow. Yes, yesterday. Dang. I know. See, it's hard when you have issue with the platform that you're on. For the most part, I don't have issue with things like, you know, not saying the red bodily fluid or um, assaults of the intimate type or unalivings. I'm fine with, the cursey word rule of thumb, but yeah, getting struck for no good reason and getting put into YouTube jail, that's messed up. That I have issue with. Um, so thank you for the hyperlink. And I don't know. I'm going to risk ending the stream by tapping on Shan's hyperlink. Shadow banning is not polite. Shadow banning is insane. I know. Oh, there it is. I love it. I'm going to subscribe. She's got 111 subscribers, counting me, and 4 videos. Oh, very cool, Shan. So I think I'm still on, right? I didn't mess up anything. Wow, 111. I'm your 111th subscriber. You guys, check out Shan's new channel. It's like cute the way she got that up so fast. Shadow banning is effed up. So, here I am hovering at about 4,000 subs. Fine by me. I don't feel the need to be any bigger. I'm just happy to be. Um, but at the same time, it's frustrating when I look back and see how quickly I got my first 1,000 subs, how quickly I got my first 3,000 subs, how insanely slow it was to get the 4,000 subs, and then just to be hovering, and to have all of my reliable, loyal subscribers tell me that they have to resub all the time. And I know I see that with some of the channels that I believe are shadow banned. So, some of these things can be glitches and we don't want to think too much of it, but it's definitely a thing. And the other thing with the shadow banning, or when YouTube pushes certain content out into the public arena, I'm sure you can pay money to have them promote your channel, but I think that they promote channels just because they feel like promoting some channels. And it's my opinion that they don't want channels that really what's good verbiage? The channels that really like to see past the surface and really get into things, really take a hard look at what's going on. It's my opinion that those channels are not promoted. But I do need to wrap up. It is getting late. We are past 90 minutes, and I'm really glad that we got to that part, though, Shan. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, it is sus. Oh, that sucks. I'm like, yeah, it's sus. Oops. Let's see. Anna Bean, it sucks. Yeah. And I believe it that she's getting too close for comfort. There you go, Anna Bean, 100%. And back at you, Shan. Love to you. But yeah, I think that Anna Bean just nailed it. You're getting too close to the truth with you guys got to check out her most recent videos. I mean, all of Shan's videos are great, from the ground up, but the real recent ones, she's been dissecting things in a new way. And I think getting to a better understanding of what may have happened or what did happen. Any ruler to find you, I have to type entire name. So I tell people when they're looking for my channel to type Justice A to Z and Kylie Rodney, and that'll bring it up. Because, yeah, you can type in Justice A to Z and not find it. Same thing with Ara's channel. If I type in Ara and Kylie Rodney, I will find her. But if I don't type in the Kylie Rodney, it'll not bring her up at all. So even with typing in Kylie Rodney, I still will have to dig and dig and dig to get to her channel that way. So you guys, I think I've done everything, and I have my little sign over here. You probably can't see it in the dark, so I'm going to bring it out of the dark into the light. Subscribe, share, turn on your notification bell. Um, Thanks so much for being here with me, you guys. I love my people. I love this platform. I really do. I hope that we can preserve it and that we can persevere and that it can continue to be here for us. Um, yeah, the truth is out there. And it's, some people can't handle the truth. So on that, you guys have a lovely evening. Take really good care of yourself. Drink your water, eat your protein, eat your vegetables, get some exercise and rest, relax, and be kind to yourself, kind to others. Check out Squirrel's new channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Sending you light, sending you love. Thanks again. You guys are the bomb.